Shalom, Markins for Karma Kapash and Jim Islam, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai by Shem Chakodash. I want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hope for that spiritual truth and all sincerity. Back again. This ain't gonna be a long video. I'm just gonna make an obvious statement. All right, and I'm pretty sure I've done a video like this previously, man, concerning Jenna. I can't remember his name now. his name's Caitlyn now, right? But this is right. He made the statement, right? We can't have biological boys competing against women in women's sports. Well, that's obvious. That's why they're separated, right? For the most part, women's and men's sports are separated, right? But because of this crazy world we live in, right? We got undercover women, undercover men, right? Men posing as women, right? Because they decided that they're fed up of being a man or boy or whatever, and they want to be a girl now, right? Complete confusion, right? But now they're competing against women, well, amongst women in sports, but there's an obvious disadvantage against the women that are in these sports now. They're getting put in the back seat because they're being outshined by the men that are in these sports, or these transition men that are in these sports. So what are these women supposed to do? Their sports and that is being taken away from them because they're not on the level, right? Because there's a clear difference between men and women biologically, right? Clear difference between men and women, and the Most High have set that up, right? The Most High made a difference between men and women, in the different sexes, right? And we're meant to be superior, we're meant to be stronger. Okay, we're meant to exert power over the weaker, right? Just like in many other systems, lions and lionesses, and the male is the greater, right? The male is the king of the pride, he's the leader, right? So it's the same thing, it's just nature. The Most High created this order, and we're meant to abide by this order. Now there are those out there that are upset with this order, and they don't want to be confined to this order that is to them supposedly established, because they don't believe in the Heavenly Father. They don't believe in this order. They believe in science. They believe in destroying the order. They believe in corrupting that order and controlling it. Well, that's not how things work, because quite evidently it doesn't work that way. All right. So but even Jenna can see, well, knows, because he is one, has transitioned, right? Jenna knows that's not fair, because there's a difference between the sexes, a very apparent one, right? I'm gonna read it what it says. She told GB News viewers she thought she was a common sense person, but criticized the case of swimmer Leah Thomas. Right? I'm not gonna play the video, but I don't know who Leah Thomas is, but I'm guessing obviously she's a transition to be a woman, and she's blitzing the women in that sport, in swimming, because she's physically stronger, right? Because it comes down to power at the end of the day. The more power you have, right, the faster and that you can be, in any sports or whatever. So men are equipped with greater power, and there's, physiological differences, right, and chemical differences that we have, right? Right. She told GB News viewers she thought she was a common sense person, but criticized the case of Leah Thomas, who Caitlyn said is beating the women by 2 laps. Boy, by 2 laps. Adding that the trans swimmer was on the men's team only a few years ago. But he was shit. As a man, he was shit. He was shit on the team, bro. You know what I mean? Cause he went elite like that. That's why I thought he'd make it easier for himself. He went down a few leagues, to compete. It's exactly like that. It's like the equivalent of a Premier League player can't make it into the first team, so he go and sign with a Division One team, and he like the star. That's what it's like. You downgraded the competition that you're amongst, because it's a lower step down. Women's sports is a lower step down. It's not on the same level. And I know you women are not gonna like that, and you believe that you can do it just as good as men, but that's really just babble, man. It's really not. It's not really. It's nonsensical, right? It's obviously different, all right. Like I said, to the most part, if you're playing chess, yeah, it might be a whole different matter. But we're not playing. We're not talking about chess, all right. And even then, I'm pretty sure the world champion is probably a male. Don't quote me. I don't know. That's not something I'm into. I don't know. But if I probably search it up, that'll probably be the truth. But yeah, come to physical activity. No, definitely not. All right. Caitlin said the National Collegiate Athletic Association has kicked the bucket down the road and needed to change the rules on competitors. I am firmly behind protecting women's sports. We cannot have biological boys competing against women in women's sports. We need a fair playing field. It ain't fair women involved. It's not a fair contest. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much an article, man. It's not a fair contest, man. All right. And like I said, everything goes back to the scriptures. Everything goes back to the Most High's creation. Okay, we're made this certain way, right? A man can't just become a woman. It just he fundamentally can't become a woman, right? You can look like, obviously they can look like one, but that's all it'll ever be. They'll just look like one. Maybe they'll be able to act like one. I don't know, man. Because even when a man is a woman, they're still not. They're still not. Something ain't right. They're not women, man. It might be effeminate, but they're not women. You know. But yeah, we'll go to the scriptures here, right? Not this one. 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7 says, likewise, you husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. Okay, mean the wife, right? Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. Now, a woman is weaker in many different ways, right? But the most obvious one is physically, right? And the word woman, I believe, means faithless or something like that, if I remember correctly. So they're not really built with fortitude and faith, belief, and all that kind of stuff inherently, right? But the most obvious one is physically, man. They're smaller, they're weaker, they're physically weaker, right? They're not, they're not intimidating figures at the end of the day, right? You line up against someone on the track, and you line up against a woman, you know what the result should be, man. If you're any kind of healthy state, you should beat that woman. Now, if she like an elite women athlete, and you're like, all you do, all you do is eat bacon sandwiches. In the world, these guys, these slobs out there, right, eating bacon sandwiches in front of the TV with a can of beer or whatever. Yeah, you might not win in it, but on the most half, right, a man will be beating a woman, 9 times out of 10. Unless in those few cases, man, you got health issues or something, right? But that's just the way it is, man. The Most High set us up to be the stronger of us, man. Okay, of the human species, right? So yeah, you have to acknowledge that you're the weaker vessel and stop hyping yourself up and believing that you're on equal footing, right? And let's read the point in that scripture. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 33. So for the Most High is not the author of confusion. All this man is they're talking about is just confusion, man. Like, because this conversation shouldn't even be. It shouldn't even exist. It's just confusion, man. And evidently it's confusing. They don't know what to do about it. Or how do we protect the rights of a category that shouldn't even exist? and real women and men, and it's just a crazy, right? Don't make no damn sense, right? The Most High is made man and women, and they made them with certain characteristics. Just deal with that and accept it, man, and move on. Like, perform your roles as men and women in society. But no, Esau wants to change how society is. He wants to change how things work. He wants to disrupt the fabric of life and feed people this shit, man. And now they're all confused. They don't know what the hell they're doing, man. Having arguments about nothingness. All right? So the Lord is not the author of confusion, man. But guess what? This world, beginning with Babylon, means confusion, right? And the Babylon is America, right? And this is where all this is coming out of, man. Or this new this new wine, right, that people are being forced to drink. Okay, I'll use that word forced as well, man, because you don't seem to have a choice, right? These people, you have to believe it, or you're wrong, or you're wicked, or you're hateful, and you don't agree, right? This is Revelation 17 verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand. Okay, speaking of America, right? Full of abominations. Okay, and this whole LBG thing is of that, right? A handful of abominations, filthiness of a fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. Right? The mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay, Babylon the Great, confusion of the highest, greatest order. It's just madness, right? And it, like I said, it shouldn't even be a topic of discussion. But here we are, 2022. Lord willing, the last year of this wicked ass kingdom, man. But anyway, that's it, man. I'm not going to make this too long, but I hope this is fine. And I'll catch you, brothers and sisters, on the next one. Shalom.